navigation elements and different landing page elements. So we're going to be going around the basic landing page, and then we're going to be creating some things on the page and editing it so you can see how easy it is to edit a page in SharePoint 2010. It will start with a Site Actions button. Your Site Actions button is where you would either go and create new items or go and change the settings of your entire site. So this is only open to people who have got the right permission levels. You need to be a site owner or higher to be able to see this. But you would go and change some, maybe your theme or your settings, whatever you under your Site Actions and Site Settings section. To get back to your landing page, you would click either the Home tab over here or your icons, or follow your breadcrumb here. Or you're going to click on this new little folder. For those of you that are familiar with SharePoint 2007, the global navigation that used to be on the top here has now been taken away, and it's been replaced with this little folder where you can navigate up and down in your structure. So clicking on any one of those links will take you back here to your landing page. So I'm often going to refer to this as the landing page. Just a note on using SharePoint 2010, it does not work with Internet Explorer 6. So if you have Internet Explorer 6, or if you are in charge of rolling SharePoint out to your organization and your users have IE6, they're going to battle, it's not going to work. So please make sure you have Internet Explorer 7, 8, 9 or Firefox. It does work to a large degree in Chrome as well. There's one or two things that don't work all that great, so then you can just switch back and forward between the two as you require. So the other important enhancement in SharePoint 2010 is the use of the ribbon. The ribbon has been pulled through from Office 2007 out to everywhere into SharePoint. So if you have users that are on Office 2003, you need to get them upskilled into Office 2007 or 2010 as soon as possible, or they're going to be really, really lost in SharePoint 2010. So this is all the different options that you can use to edit your page or to view your page. But if you want to actually edit your page, you would click on this icon over here, which would put the whole page into edit mode. You see you've got a whole bunch of formatting options in here, and we're going to get into all of these in a moment, and I'll show you how all of this works. But that is where you would go and edit your page, and you'll see editing toolboxes available up here. To leave your editing view, you're going to click on Save and Close. So saving and closing it will put it back into the default view. Okay, on the right, now this is just SharePoint 2010 Foundation. A lot of you, if you're working in companies, you're going to have SharePoint Server for the most part. So there are a couple of things in here that are not that are missing that will be available on Server. One of them being that on the right-hand side you would have options for tags and notes and like buttons. Okay, so that's not available in Foundation. But your name will be at the top right-hand side, and this is where you would go and edit your profile if necessary, or in 2010 Server, access your My Sites and go and change your settings to your My Sites there. In Foundation, Hosted Foundation, it just takes me to my little profile where I can change my password and set my alerts and that type of thing. It's your login details pretty much. You have a search button on your right-hand side of here. It's default to everywhere, and it works similar to your Google search as well. But like searching for any information using a search engine, information has to be tagged correctly. So if you had to search for webinars using Google, for example, you would get thousands and thousands of hits. But if you had to search for SharePoint webinars beginners, you would get a lot more relevant hits. But in order for that to happen, all the people that are offering those services would need to then tag all the information properly so that those search results would come up correctly. The same thing is in SharePoint. Okay, so when you are working with all of your documentation, it's something that you just need to keep in mind, that if you want to extract information on a long-term basis, you have to have tagged properly in the first place so that you can get it extracted. There is a little help file that's just underneath this bar over here. It's not really very good at all. Rather go to office.microsoft.com for some help, or go to Google, or ask the global community. The built-in help files aren't all that great at all. On your left-hand side of all your default pages, this little bar over here is called your Quick Launch. So everything that you create in SharePoint will be linked to this Quick Launch. Everything in here is completely editable, except for your bottom two links. Your recycle bin and your all-site content are hard-coded into your site. When you delete items, they will go into your recycle bin for 30 days, and then into a site collection administrator bin for another 30 days. So it's your own like little built-in backup system. So if you do realize that you've deleted something, try and figure it out in the first 60 days, because it's very easy for us to get out then, as opposed to after that, in which case you've got to go to your IT departments and get proper site restores done or information restores done. Your view all site content, or your all site content in this case, it was view all site content in SharePoint 2007. This is like your site map. So everything that you create in SharePoint will be displayed under here. There's a set of hyperlinks with a description of what they are and how many items they were and when they were last modified. So you want to pick up dormancy by using a screen like this. So now, right now, this was created 8 days ago. If it was created 8 months ago and there was no items in it, then you would know that the site was actually dormant, and would it really make sense to actually keep the site live? You should rather go and delete it. By default, you get a whole lot of items created with a team site. They are all just sample items. You can use them, yes or no, it's entirely up to you. There is another create button here. It is the same as the create options that are under your site actions menu. My browsers have gone absolutely crazy, so they unfortunately are not working. So I just have to hard code how to get to that create screen. But these are all the different items that you can go and create in your site pages as you start working with SharePoint. Let's go back to our landing page. In the middle section over here, this is your real estate where all of your information is going to be stored and being presented to your users. The site image we're going to change immediately. And this getting started section is something that we're going to change to. So now, in my opinion, I don't think that these are the correct things to have on a landing page, especially if you're a beginner to SharePoint. These are not necessarily the first things that you want to do when you're presented with a blank SharePoint 2010 site. And this happens quite often, especially in large organizations, that they would purchase it and just roll it out to business, and business users would get a page like this. So the problem being that if you click on share the site, it's immediately going to take you to the permission settings. Now, we're going to discuss permissions in the second session, but you definitely don't want to be getting permissions first off the bat when you get a brand new site. That's one of the last things that you want to be doing. You need to be planning for that type of thing. So I don't think that that would be the right thing to give to beginners who don't have any SharePoint experience. Changing the site theme, that's not so bad. You can go and do that. We'll go and do that at the end. Setting a site icon. This over here on your top left-hand side is your site icon. You can change that quite easily, but what this does is take you directly to the page where you would go and change that site icon. So if you've deleted that how-to, then it might be difficult for you to figure out how to get back in there again. So we'll go change it the long way around so you can see how to do that. Customizing the quick launch. This is your quick launch. Again, it's not something that I would recommend, because when you've got a blank SharePoint team site, you don't want to immediately start changing your quick launch and changing all these links over here. You don't know what you're going to be navigating to and when and where and how yet. You first want to be creating some libraries and lists and surveys and start storing information. And once you've got the storage right, then you can start deciding about, okay, well, is the navigation working? Is the site design working? And how do the permissions need to work with all this? And you would work from there.